This is going to be a very, very long video because I have so much things to put in here. Basically, it's about almost 2 weeks worth of things that's been going on. And I know I'm very sorry I haven't been posting daily entries. It's just I've been super, super busy with getting everything together for this protest that's about to happen in September. So here's what's been going on. Hey everyone. Okay, so I went to Mass, as everybody knows. And while I was at Mass, I was not really thinking about posting my poster there. I didn't think about it until after Mass. Now, in the beginning of Mass, when I showed up, I thought, should I do it? And then I decided not to. But then after Mass, I was speaking with another wonderful lady there named Vani, and she was talking about how she does not like this Soji 123 in the schools. And so she was telling me about how her and a lot of parents are very, very concerned about it. And I thought maybe I should talk to the father about putting my poster up in the parish and leaving some cards so people can get involved, right? Because we're going to do a protest march on September 20th. So I talked to the father, and Father Ao did decide. He did decide to let me put my poster up and leave some cards. So I was very, very happy. And he also asked me to email the poster so that if it disappears somehow, they can print new ones. So I was really excited about that. That's amazing. Also, he told me about old city councilman in my city that does things like this, who gets parents together and starts like coalitions to push out things that aren't very suitable for young children. So I contacted that former city councilman, and I also contacted the organizer for the BC chapter, and we're all going to pull our resources and we're going to get moving. And I'm so excited because I just really wanted to do this so bad, and I've been pushing really hard for the last couple of weeks, and now I'm gonna have help, so I'm really excited. Yes. So other than that, I have other things on my plate right now. So right now I just have to organize all the stuff for this week because there's a lot of going on this week. So this week I have to go and get the information for me teaching prep this year at the parish. I have probably a meeting on Thursday with the organizer of BC, and then so many other things going on, which is really exciting. My friend is coming on Wednesday, and then I'm supposed to meet up with her either Friday or Saturday, I'm not too sure, or sometime next week. But whatever the case, I have a lot going on, and I'm really, really excited because I'm actually doing what I sought out to do, and it's exhilarating that I finally get to do this kind of stuff, because this is what I wanted to do for many, 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 many years. I just didn't know how, and now I'm figuring out. So thank you, Lord Jesus. Thank you. So the first thing that happened was that Sunday when I went to church, I was not planning on putting my poster there, but I ended up doing it at the end because I thought, why not? And then I asked the father first because I was talking to Vani, and she said, yes, just put it up. And I said, okay. And then Father of the parish said, yes, go right ahead. And then I was talking to him about my initiative, about what I'm going to do. And he told me to talk to a former councilman, and I did. And that councilman is helping me. So I thought that was amazing news, and I started sharing certain things online on Sunday about how hypocritical the other side is, and how they can say and do whatever they want, basically, and how we have to be very, very careful with words that we say, with images that we post, with things that we do. And I just find it really, really sad that that's basically what's going on right now, you know? Like, we have to be so careful. We have to watch what we say. We have to watch the images that we post. it's so frustrating. So I got frustrated and I started just, venting. And it was a good venting session, because then I got comments in my inbox about certain events that were coming up that week, like an early Zoom on Tuesday, and then there was another Zoom as well, and then another Zoom. So I was on like 3 Zooms in 1 week, and I was very, very excited for it. And I was very, very glad to be a part of all of that. And then I found some information that I thought was very vital for everyone to hear. So I ended up posting it in my stories. I didn't post it in here because I'm quite worried about, like, how the video would turn out if I did. But yeah, I was very excited that I found those videos and I put them in my stories. One of the videos is in here. I don't know how well that's gonna go down with YouTube, but I put it in here anyway. And yeah, I have a backup channel if my current one gets deleted or whatever it's gonna do. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I really like my YouTube channel, but stuff happens. So yeah. Hello everyone. So I wanted to do a quick video because, well, it's easier than doing a bunch of slides of words. As you know, I usually do slides of words because I don't really like doing videos unless I absolutely have to. But recently I've had to because there's just too much to say. And there's not enough slides to say it in, so it's much easier to say it in a minute or 2 video than it is to put it into words in a slide, which is very limited. Anyway, so as you know, there's a lot going on just right now. Like, so much is going on. So we have officially got word back from the former congressman, former city councilman. We've got word back from him. Hold on. All right, so we got word back from the former city councilman. He is going to help me spread the word throughout all of the parishes in British Columbia, and I gave him my email to hand off to them so that they can email me so that I can get them in touch with Parents for Parents' Rights organizations for the BC chapter of the march, so that they can organize a march in their city, and so on and so forth. So this is literally moving along now and starting to pick up pace. And once it starts rolling, the ball starts rolling, that is what we want. We don't want it to slow down or stop, because it was hard to get the ball rolling in the first place. So the hardest part is over. Now we have to do is just keep it rolling, and it should be easy to keep it rolling after it starts. I mean, have you ever tried to keep a ball rolling after it starts rolling? It's very easy. So that is the goal. We're going to keep the ball rolling, and we're just going to have it pick up speed and momentum, and we're going to ride that to the finish line. And that is all the good news that I have for right now. That is literally right now news. So all of the parishes in British Columbia will be informed of this organized protest for the first week of school, and I'm super excited about it. There's going to be formal posters for BC soon enough. That will happen after the Thursday Zoom meeting, which I will be on. I don't know who is the direct organizer for British Columbia just yet. It was in touch with the organizer of the whole entire event. So hopefully they appoint someone for the British Columbia chapter, and then we can get the ball rolling from there. And I will also post the names of those for the other provinces as well. But I will be doing that in the group because I don't want those people targeted by the infiltrators. So I will post those people in the group, the names and the organizer for those chapters of the other provinces. And you can get into the group and get that information, okay? Unless you are not on social media, then you can email me at faithfulparentscoalition@protonmail.com, and I will give you that information accordingly. So this is the updated news. I hope that you guys will stay tuned because Thursday's the next news that I'll be bringing out, if not sooner, if there's other news to bring out sooner. So until then, I hope you guys have a wonderful afternoon. I'm gonna now take off and do what I do in the afternoon. I clean, say the rosary, and then, yeah, take the boys to the park for a little while and watch some well-needed news. So I will catch up with y'all a little later. Have a wonderful afternoon. Later for now. And I had lots of lunch hour talks that week because there was just so much going on all at once. And I was just super happy. I was just so excited after the silent protest on the Saturday, and then things were just moving along very quickly after that. Now things have calmed down a bit, but I'm assuming that it's probably going to get, crazy again soon because the protest is almost here. And so I think that it's going to be very, very exciting. I heard some bad news was coming, but we'll see. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I guess we can only hope for the best. And I'm praying that the Lord, doesn't let anything get in the way of what we're all trying to do as parents here. But I also know that the enemy is trying to stop us as parents from doing what we need to do to protect our children. And hopefully it doesn't work, and that we still do what we need to do as parents, and that we don't just back down because of situations that the enemy puts in our way, obstacles. I'm hoping that we can stop the enemy from doing that to us, but we'll see. For now, though, I'm just going to keep pushing on, and hopefully we get somewhere with this. It has to be now. Otherwise, when, right? So we have to do it now. It has to happen now. We've already waited way too long. And we're almost out of time. So we got to do it now. And that's basically what I've been saying the whole time. Like, it's now or never. And we're running out of time. So we got to do it now. All right, y'all. It's another one of those making lunch and chats. That's going to happen. Because, well, I got to talk about some stuffs. When I have to talk about some stuffs, I got to do it like this. So today, there's a lot of news going around. A lot of news going around about, there's a Zoom meeting tonight for parents who are going to organize across Canada, which remains to be seen of where exactly that's going to be taking place. Because I'm unsure if it's going to take place. I don't know if we have an organizer here in BC yet, is basically what I'm trying to say. But that's okay, because I have a plan that I could be the organizer for BC chapter if they need me to be, because I'm very good at organizing. Which is fine. I can do it if they need me to. Now, the other thing is I'm just reaching for something in the back of this fridge here. Okay, sorry. The other thing is that I didn't know that when I was reading the document that I exposed in the very first post on my website, they mentioned a certain word, purge. I had no idea what that was referring to. Now, I had originally thought it was purging old criminal files, you know, because they expunged a lot of their previous crimes from 1950 up to now. And they're trying to extend that even further back in some cases, but I thought that that's what it meant. However, if you know about redacted news, I shared it on my front page. They actually reported that there was more to it than just that. Not to mention that there's a new bill coming out that just got passed secretly in the background of all this mess with, you know, breakups and separations for distraction purposes only. Good distraction, because it distracted us long enough not to see what's going to happen in September/October. And it's pretty bad. So if you like to read and talk freely, that's about to change. Also, apparently there's going to be militant task forces of citizens allowed to harass and you know, squash dissent on certain topics that we're currently trying to march against right now. And yeah, so we'll be able to march against it. Sure, yeah, sure. We'll have probably a great turnout, and we'll have a great day across the nation. And then shortly after that, knock, 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 investigations at our door from the police first, and then also protesters and paid agitators and harassers showing up to try and convert you. This is what's going to happen. And if you don't believe me, just go watch that video from Redacted News. They actually explain it quite a little better than I did, but I got the gist of it. So I've been looking around, poking around the internet, and it's impossible to find anything. Even on their own website for the Purge Fund itself, I tried. I'm going to have to go to a specific place to try and find the actual information. Although I'm pretty sure it's probably under re-education and training. On their website, but I haven't really had a chance to fully look into it because, you know, I am a mother and I'm a very busy one. Okay, good.
We were sleeping in the toy box.
Okay, good.
Because we're going to make it when we just hold outside.
Oh, you're going to drag it outside?
Yep, and we'll put it back after we'll find a way.
Okay, you guys figure that out if you want to play with it.
Okay. Hey guys.
Thank you for not taking my clothes basket again. They took my clothes baskets, y'all. Trying to play with them. Said no, put it back. What is wrong with you? So now, they stepped outside of their box in their head. They decided, fine, we'll use our own toy box. So they cleaned out their toy box. And they're going to drag it outside, so have at it. It's their toy box. They want to use it like that. It's fine with me. As long as they ain't using my clothes basket. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yes. I'm going to have to try to look into it deeper by going to, like, I don't even know where I'm going to find the information to be exact, because it's, like, hidden really deeply. Along with that action plan that I exposed was hidden very deeply. It's not very easily accessible, and I was surprised I even found it. It was an accident that I even came across it. I was looking for something else. But there it was. And I thought, ooh, this is interesting. So I read through and I was like, oh, this is really interesting. You know? It's not like they hide their plans from anybody. They like to flaunt it now. They don't even have to mince words or anything like that. They just say what they want to say, and if we say anything about it, it's disinformation. C'est la vie. Hopefully we can change that though. And make it Canada again. Because right now this is in Canada. This is a nightmare. If we're gonna put some words to it. It's a nightmare. It's a totalitarian nightmare. That's what this is. And I don't know what to do about it other than talk. And of course, protest, but soon I imagine our protesting rights under the first charter right will be squashed. We're allowed to peacefully assemble, but how long will that last under this new disinformation bill? I don't know. This is turning into a nightmare, but I imagine that's exactly what's supposed to happen. Designed this way. If you don't know about it, you guys should be reading Revelations, because that's where it's all at. If you want to know what's going to happen next, read Revelations. It lays it all out, black and white. And some highlighted red areas, of course, because, you know, Jesus speaks in there. And Jesus' words are always in red. It's all there. All of this. I want you guys outside for a bit till I'm done your lunch. And can you clean off your table so I can put it down quickly and easily? You guys are going to have a lot today for lunch. And you better eat it all.
Hey, how long do we be outside?
10 minutes or so.
Do? Before we eat, we're gonna wash our hands.
That's a good idea.
Is it called moo the homeless cow? We have to go outside for 10 minutes.
10 minutes while I do this.
Yes! Yes! The oranges! Yes, jello orange!
Was that our landlord?
The jellos?
Did
We're getting
you hear
so
that?
much good stuff with our.
Did our landlord
I'm
just
getting this,
come
you're getting
home?
this.
Hello?
What?
Can you go see if our landlords just came home?
Mate, what is this? Mate, is it exactly this? Nope, nothing changed.
Then it must be next door.
Mate, smashing the doors again.
Yeah, here, put this in the fridge for me. Sorry.
Mate,
What, Lucas?
is this the same as that?
Oh,
Is it?
sorry, y'all. I got a phone call from the Hubsters, so I had to answer. What was I saying? I don't remember what I was saying, but...
You were talking about the next door.
No. I was talking about something more important than that before that happened.
Put this in the house. In the new house. But is this a new one? No?
You guys have to go outside until I'm done. I don't want you guys around here bothering me while I'm doing this. Go. I don't remember what I was saying. But there was something important going on that I had to say something about. I don't remember now. I got distracted. Anyway, in their action plan, they talk about things like the new bills that will be coming out shortly. And it's very, very controversial wording, to be exact, because I don't understand why they have to like word it in such a way, you know what I mean? But then passing these kinds of laws at all is going against the actual Canadian constitutional charter rights and freedoms. But apparently it doesn't matter because they're trying to change outdated and redundant things. It literally says that. Literally. The Constitution is never outdated and it'll never be redundant. Never. That speak for conservative, white, religious. That's what that's for. Because if you read through the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, it is very conservative. It is very, very religious based. And yeah, they were white people that made it. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to erase the history of Canada and replace it with their dystopian. That's the truth. And I know that this slide here will probably never be able to be uploaded onto my stories, but I don't care. I will speak truth to the end of time. I don't care what anyone says.
Good way.
Yeah, cool.
Is it gross?
Who?
Is it cute?
It's cute.
Mine's not.
Okay. And their lunch is done, so I'm going to take a picture. So, here we go into another week after this weekend, which is long Labor Day weekend. After this weekend, here we go again. We're going into another week, and we're just getting closer and closer to our protest day. And I'm pretty sure momentum's about to pick up pretty quickly here, because this is when we have to firmly put down our intentions and our game plan for whatever may transpire, because we already know that, the enemy is planning their own counter protest, and we know that there's going to be some huge things going on around that time. So we have to get ready now and be prepared for, safety and security of people, because it is a family-friendly event, and we want to make sure that no one is in any situation that would be inconvenient, if you get my drift. Anyway, and we're just hoping for a good turnout, a good day, and we'll see what happens after that, because I know that the enemy already has their plans, but we're going to try not to let that hinder our plans. And if anything, I'll just start praying right in front of them. I don't care. All right, y'all. So I don't know if you've ever felt like that, but or this rather, I felt like I just needed to get out and get away for a while. So here I am. I'm out. I'm getting away for a little while. I have something in my shoe currently, so as soon as possible I have to get that out of my shoe. But after that video I watched earlier, and if you've watched it, then you are probably feeling the same way.
No, it.
Just blood boiling and angry. But yeah. I just had to get out, so me and the boys are gonna go and we're gonna try to forget that I even watched that video. I'll have to deal with it eventually, I know, but right now I just don't wanna. I'll start praying and I will just get going and do what I need to do. You know what I mean? So I don't really care what others may say about it. I'll just start praying and show the enemy that they can't overpower the soldiers that are working for the innocence of this world. So we're soldiers for the innocents and we're protecting them. And this whole thing has God's anointing, I believe, because why else would the Lord put me in certain situations and talking to certain people if this wasn't what he wanted me to do all along? So I know the Lord is backing this up with his glorious light to protect the innocence of this world, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to protect the innocence of this world, whether the enemy likes it or not. So be gone, enemy. And so we will just work together and keep moving on, and we will keep pushing forward for the innocence of this world. And I am thankful that the Lord has put this on my heart and gave me this mission, because he knows that I will fulfill it and do everything in my power to get it done. So I will work very hard for the Lord on this one. And I already have. I've started pamphlets, which I have to print. What else have I started? I did the cards. I have the posters. And I have my protest signs for the day, the event. I have also a newsletter that I'm going to be launching tomorrow. I'm working on that today. And then each week I'm going to be putting out a new newsletter. And it's going to be exciting. I never thought of doing something like this before, but I thought it was a good idea. And I will definitely keep in the newsletter some encouraging things. I'll even include like a scripture at the bottom and like a chapter to read if somebody needs just an uplifting, a chapter to read in the Bible, because I know that there's a lot of Christians who are getting involved, and I think this will be very, very good, and the newsletter itself will be very, very good, and I'm just going to put in there as much information as I can each week, along with like, you know, latest news, obviously. And there's no shortage of news if you even been looking online. I know that social media has like basically erased news for Canada on like Facebook and Instagram and anywhere else that usually advertises news. I know that they've basically erased it because of the stupid legislation that was passed. But if you're subscribed to any kind of like news channel on YouTube or Instagram, then you know that there's news and there's an abundance of it. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today, some news on my blog posts. And I'm also going to be talking about the upcoming newsletter launching, which I'm very, very excited about. And the news that's going on in my Parents Coalition. There's lots going on there as well. We just finished the code of conduct or principles or whatever you want to call it. And I also uploaded template letters into the Facebook group as I promised. And I've been getting onto like scripts next. I'm going to write out some scripts for people so that they can call their representatives. And then I have also to do, I have to finish the pamphlets. Then I have to go to Staples and have them printed. And hopefully they're done long before protest day. Then I have to do newsletter, and I'm going to print those off myself. I might go to Staples and have them printed, actually. I mean, I don't need very many. It's going to just be the latest one. So the protest is on the 20th, and there's a Friday before the 20th. I don't remember which Friday that is going to be. Oh, it's the 8th. Right? No, it's not. Is it? Hold on. I have to look at a calendar here. Oh. Okay, let's see here. September. All right. It's the 15th. So the 15th is that newsletter before the 20th. So I'll print the 15th newsletter. And I'll have it with me. And I'm going to be handing out cards, poster, pamphlet, and newsletter. And then everything's going to have all the websites that's needed for it. And I'm going to be handing those out at the protest. Hopefully, things move along smoothly and nicely. And I might even write a script for myself, because I want to say something, like a speech. I want to say something while I'm there. So I will probably write out a speech, because I want to say something. And if I don't get to like speak at the event, that's fine. Instead, what I'll do is I'll do a video while I read the speech while I'm there. And that'll be good enough. I'll have one of my boys hold the camera for me. And then I'll just say the speech and then upload that later in the day. Oh, yes, that's right. I'm also going to get a battery bank, because I have to, so that I can keep filming the most important parts of the event. So I'll have a battery bank with me. And I will probably be charging my phone once it gets down to like 20% or so. I'm not going to be like filming nonstop like I used to. I'll film here and there, some of the speeches, some of the march, me handing out some pamphlets and things. And hopefully there will be some people there that also want to get involved. And so I might have actually one of those things where I can gather like emails, so that I can email people newsletters and whatnot weekly if they want to know updates on things, and just get some insider information on all angles of what's going on in the parent movement. And yeah. And so I will do that and see how many people would really like to have an email and a newsletter once a week. So yeah, we'll see. And here's the horrible video I have to show you. Sorry.
When I first stepped foot into a police detachment to give my statement as to the grooming and sexual abuse I had been experiencing up until that point. He was arrested. He confessed to everything, and he was convicted. To say that this didn't shape my life to some extent would be a lie. I knew from a very young age that I wanted to do whatever I could to help protect children from experiencing the same trauma I had. It's what led me to becoming a police officer with the RCMP, with the goal of one day working in preventing child sexual abuse. Because of this, I took specific training on how to profile and interview child sex offenders. This includes those who are pedophiles and those who aren't. During this training, we studied numerous case studies, watched interviews with offenders, watched undercover operation and rescue mission, just like the one that was featured in the recently released movie Sound of Freedom. We learned how child sex offenders think, how they behave, and what we can expect of them. We learned about the history of pedophilia and their past attempt at actually normalizing pedophilia into society. We learned about their logos, code language, anything and everything that could be considered relevant to an investigation, including what to look for in a search warrant. One of the organizations we learned about the most was the North American Man-Boy Love Association, also known as NAMBLA. They are the biggest known pedophile activist organization in the world. Due to police infiltration, which led to hundreds of arrests, the group doesn't actually meet anymore. However, this doesn't mean that they aren't still active. NAMBLA itself has an interesting history. Its founder was a known gay activist and socialist, and from its early conception, the organization was a part of what is now known as the LGBTQ community. They even took part in early days of pride parades. Their involvement into the International Lesbian and Gay Association led to them being kicked out of the UN. Shortly after, NAMBLA was kicked out and removed from the greater LGBTQ community. However, many within the community still believe they belong. An example of this would be Gail Rubin, who wrote the founding document of what is now known as queer theory. This is the exact document that's behind the gender ideology that's coming into our schools. This founding document is littered with pro-pedophilia language. In fact, this right here is Gail's exact words. It is harder for most people to sympathize with actual boy lovers. Like communists and homosexuals in the 1950s, boy lovers are so stigmatized that it is difficult to find defenders for their civil liberties, let alone for their erotic orientation. I'll be speaking more about this subject, queer theory, as well as Soji in a future episode. So all this to say, pedophiles have a history of infiltrating the LGBTQ movement, or what is now known as the 2SL LGBTQIA+ movement. In fact, this is listed as one of NAMBLA's main goals, to infiltrate the LGBTQ movement in hopes to one day normalize pedophilia into society. In this released FBI declassified document, it says the following about the NAMBLA organization and its goals and mission. Here's 8 that's listed in that document. End the oppression of pedophiles from having what they consider consensual relationship. Build support networks for pedophiles. Educate the public on how sex between adults and kids is good and doesn't hurt them. Work with the LGBTQ movement and anyone who fights for sexual liberation. Free people of all ages from sexual prejudice and oppression. Support the rights of all people, including kids, to choose who they have sex with. Get young people to rebel against anti-sexual restrictions and push back against those who impose them. So adults, parents, police, moral crusaders, the church, and government authorities. Last one, lower the age of consent and change legislation that are against the freedom of youth. Now, why am I talking about this? Well, we know that child sexual abuse hasn't gone away. In fact, it's even more prominent now than it was then. While NAMBLA doesn't recruit anymore or do their work openly on the public square as NAMBLA, that doesn't mean they aren't still very much active. So now we have to ask ourselves, where in society have we noticed this specific kind of activism? It doesn't take long to start seeing a few red flags. I'm going to point you to a recent incident that occurred in Lumsden, Saskatchewan in Canada, where Planned Parenthood presenters exposed grade 9 class to sexually explicit content. It included A to Z sex cards as well as a booklet that was sent home with kids. Now, I can use the term sexually explicit content, but some of you are probably going to roll your eyes thinking it's likely not that bad. But I'm going to read out one of the cards for you because you can't possibly imagine how bad it is unless I do read it. I've changed 2 words in it for you so that I could air this publicly. This card was for the letter F and includes a word that rhymes with belching. The act of sucking milk from your partner's backside chocolate donut, as if milk didn't taste good enough already. Nothing says lovin' like milk fresh from the oven. If you're going to chow down on some chocolate donut marinated milk, just know that you and your partner are at high risk for HIV and STIs. Now, if that wasn't bad enough, the flyer sent home with kids had just as much concerning material. It talked about urinating on each other, defecating on each other, as well as fisting. Yeah, you heard that right. They thought it was appropriate to teach a grade 9 class about fisting. It also included the exact words, drug can heighten sexual pleasure, which an assumption could be made that this could lead to encouraging children to try it. You can hear directly from parents as to what happened by listening to my Twitter space, which aired July 26, 2023. It's going to be posted on the same channel as you are viewing this video, as well as to my Twitter profile, Nadine G. Ness, for the next 2 weeks. Following rightful public outrage, Minister of Education Dustin Duncan made a ministerial directive essentially banning Planned Parenthood and their affiliated organization from presenting in the classrooms for the time being. We'll get into the affiliated organizations later on in this video. After this move by the minister, and after complaints being filed with the police over this incident, Planned Parenthood made this statement. They didn't apologize to the students or parents, but instead apologized for the situation they placed the school in. The story put forth in the statement is not truthful to what actually occurred, or as described by the students and parents. This statement also didn't match the response they had with the concerned parents who called them the day following the incident. The parent described Planned Parenthood gloating about exposing kids to these cards and flyers. You can also hear about this on the Twitter space posting alongside with this video. I have to add, this incident is also not a one-off incident. We uncovered shortly after that these cards and pamphlets have made their way into many other schools across Canada. Now, these actions, the bragging, the lack of accountability, certain keywords used by Planned Parenthood really did raise alarm bells in my head based on my past personal experience and professional experience. So I decided to go digging into these organizations and their affiliated partners. I found some very concerning things that I feel is crucial for parents and the public to know. Planned Parenthood, also known as Action Canada, works closely with other key organizations like Wisdom to Action and Not Just the Tip.ca, as well as the Canadian Centre for Gender and Sexual Diversity. These organizations are provincially and federally funded, so they're paid for by your very own tax dollars. All of these organizations have plans and advocate for a complete overhaul of the current sexual education curriculum that we currently have in Canada. They consider the current sex ed program to be a shame-based program and want to change it to what they call a pleasure-based sexual education program. You can see an example of this pleasure-based sexual education program here. A Twitter follower sent me a secretly recorded presentation that describes this new type of sex ed, as well as what they consider the bad part of the current sexual education program. This presentation was being led by trans activist Faye Johnstone. If that name sounds familiar, it's because Faye has been involved in a few recent controversy. One of them being the Hershey campaign controversy, as well as Faye being chosen to be the keynote speaker at the YWCA Women of Distinction Award. I'll post a few clips of this audio in a separate video for those who want to go listen to it for themselves. This new sexual education teaches that everything's okay and nothing's off limit, as long as it brings you pleasure. This fits right in with the sex cards and the flyer I talked about earlier. In the same audio, they explain on how they plan on bringing these changes to sexual education. The plan is to lean on teachers and third-party organizations by providing assistance, training, and resources for free, instead of getting it done through the proper channels, which is the curriculum. They even mock government officials who have pushed back on this. they essentially plan on bypassing government and parents. They also warn about pushback from parents and how it can sometimes take just one parent to derail the entire thing. Now, to the most concerning thing of all, the Canadian Centre for Gender and Sexual Diversity. I was absolutely horrified by what I saw when I got on their website's main page. Remember earlier when I mentioned about being trained to look for specific things when conducting an investigation or a search warrant on child sex offenders? These logos are the logos that I was trained to look for. Now, why are these logos important? It's not like pedophiles can go out there and broadcast who they are. So these logos are one of the ways that they use to identify each other and others who support them. Now, this is the website for the federally funded Canadian Centre for Gender and Sexual Diversity, and the logo is right next to it. There's a possibility whoever created this website or runs the organization has no clue what they are projecting. But the fact that there's two of them right on their main page makes that even harder to believe. Even if they don't know, the fact that they are there sends a strong message to pedophiles that they are allies to their community and could in fact mean that some of them have infiltrated the organization. Now, I'm not saying that all these organizations are run by pedophiles. However, when you start looking at the history, the goals and mission of pedophile activists, like the ones in NAMBLA, it raises a lot of red flags that I don't believe we should continue to ignore. Again, here are the bullet points I talked about earlier directly from the FBI report. Now, looking at these bullet points, these activist-led group appears to want to remove any limitations to sexual activity, just like NAMBLA did. They constantly promote that children can decide for themselves what to do with their own body through this new gender ideology, and it's going younger and younger by the day. They are pushing for pleasure-based sexual education, which in essence means if it physically feels good, it is good. This is the same mindset that NAMBLA uses to define what they consider man-boy love consensual. They have logos that basically advertise that they are allies for the pedophile community. And NAMBLA openly stated that their goal was to cooperate with the LGBTQ community, so it shouldn't be surprising that they are the primary target and could in fact have infiltrated the movement just like they did in the past. We're seeing constant attempts at pushing the limits of exposing kids to sexually explicit contents. They attack and are against any groups or adults who push back on sexualization of children, so parents, moral crusaders, the church, and any other governing authority. Even though I'm against these organizations coming into our schools to teach sexual education, I'm not against all type of sexual education as the extreme left will lead you to believe. I'm personally in favor of sexual education which promotes healthy relationship, healthy boundaries, consent, reducing the rate of teen pregnancy as well as STIs, while also being geared towards detecting and lowering the risk of child sexual abuse. That's why I'll continue to advocate and lobby for having a Canadian version of Erin Moran's law implemented in Canada like it has in most of the states. Its main purpose is helping detect and prevent child sexual abuse, and I believe it to be a necessary step in the right direction. I'll be speaking more specifically on this subject on a future episode. This video is for people from within the community and outside the community to band together to end the sexualization and confusion of our children. Acceptance of the LGBTQ is in decline for the first time in years. Allowing this to continue is only going to make that worse. We need your help now more than ever. These are questions you can start asking these organizations. Why the focus on kids? Why these logos? Demand that they be changed and that pedophilia be publicly denounced, as well as the behaviors linked to normalizing it. Demand that they stop isolating kids by teaching them to fear their families and keep secrets from them. We need you to push back just like the community did in the past. There are many groups from within the community who oppose this. Many have already reached out to me. In fact, this video might have even been shared by one of them. Join these groups. Be bold and courageous and voice your concerns. Now, for everyone, you're likely wondering what to do next. Well, you can start by sharing this video with everyone you know. We need to raise awareness as much as possible to where this is leading society. Reach out to your elected official, whether it be municipal, provincial, or federal. You may be thinking that someone else is going to do it so you don't have to, but I can assure you that that mindset is exactly why we are in this situation. Start getting involved politically at all levels, especially at school boards. Did you know that most school board trustees get in by acclamation, which means they get in because no one else runs against them? This needs to change. We need more parents on school board, not just retired school staff or administrators, or even more recently, activists. And if you're a school board trustee, you need to start speaking up. The middle ground seems to have been completely lost and the majority voice silenced because everyone's so afraid of going against this woke ideology. This is the first episode of a series where I'll be tackling the sexualization of children, a subject way too many people are afraid to talk about. This will include on how to protect children in your home and in your community. And yes, that also includes abuse in the church, a problem so many are so afraid to address. So to hear more of this, follow me on Twitter, on YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble, wherever I post. An organization that would be good to follow is Unified Grassroots, an organization that I am one of the founders and president of. You can do so by going to our website, unifiedgrassroots.com, and subscribing to our email. Or you can also search us on Facebook under the same name, Unified Grassroots. Lastly, if you plan on attacking me for making this video, just know that you're going to further prove my point and message. Your attempts at canceling me and silencing me will not sway me for standing up for what is right. I'm going to continue to expose those who are trying to sexualize our kids and or normalize pedophilia. I'm a product of child sexual abuse, and because of this, I refuse to be silent.
So while I was trying to upload the videos into my stories, it would not upload some of them. Like this one here was not uploading at all in the stories. And I was like, what is going on here? And I didn't understand why it wouldn't upload. I don't know why it's not showing in here, but there's a circle at the bottom where it says the progress of uploading it into the stories, but it wasn't uploading. And then eventually it did upload, but it took forever. So instead of waiting for it to upload, I decided I was going to instead screenshot what it wasn't uploading and post it in the stories. But then it ended up uploading all those videos. It just took over an hour. You know what I mean? It was terrible. And I was very sad to see that happen. Like, why is it taking an hour to upload certain videos onto my stories? I was so livid about it. And then after it did, though, I was very happy. So once a week, I'm going to be posting this in my stories because I think it's very important for parents to hear what this video is saying. And I know that it's very hard information. It's very, very difficult to hear. I mean, it was very difficult for me. The day that I watched the video was that Wednesday where I had the short video where I needed to get out. I don't know if you ever feel like that, but I got to just go, right? That was that day. It was very, very hard for me that day. I not only watched that video, but I read NABLA's website, and it just, oh man, I got so mad. I was so angry. My blood was boiling. It was so bad. And so I posted some of what was on that website into a post on my website. And I said several times in the post, I am very sorry, but you guys need to read this and need to get angry so that you're willing to do what it takes to protect your children. You have to get mad. You don't want to get mad and then just react. You need to have a strategic action plan. So get mad, yes. Get angry. That'll motivate you to do something. And here's what you're going to do. And then I laid out what we're going to do in a post that I posted on Tuesday on the website. So if you guys just want to go check out what's been going on, go to faithfulparentscoalition.org and just check out the latest blogs from this week. They're there. You can see them. You can read all of them, in fact, if you want. I think that now there's like 13. And I'm doing another one today. And I'm just going to do the latest news from this week so far. I'm also going to finish the newsletter for tomorrow. And then I'm posting the newsletter on the website. I'm not posting it anywhere else other than in the Facebook group. So if you want to read the newsletter, you have to subscribe to the website because that's where it's going to happen. I'm going to send it by email. It's going to be a weekly thing that goes out automatically. Email. You won't be able to find it on the website anywhere because it's only for members. So, and membership is free, guys. It's not like you have to like spend a penny or a dollar or anything like that. I'm not asking for any money. Doing all this for free. Also, if you want the pamphlets I'm going to be printing, if you want the PDF for it, I can email that to you. I'm going to be posting it in the Facebook group, the PDF version of it, so that you guys will have it if you want it. Also, same with the newsletter. It'll be in the PDF file on the Facebook group. And I'll upload those weekly. But yeah, this is what I wanted to let you guys know. I know it's long, I'm sorry, but enjoy. Love y'all. Later for now.